having to educate people, and that's one of the things that leadership does, but also when we have our chamber webinars and meetings and things like that, we're trying to get that information out, because that is a challenge, trying to correct the narrative that people are being told.
Welcome to the Southside Show, your local news and information source for Atlanta's South Side.
Welcome to the Southside Show. I'm your host, R.D. Jones III. Each week, we shine the spotlight on the Southside's rich culture and colorful history, which has a global effect on faith, economy, politics, and technology. Our guest today served as the District 7 Fulton County Commission Chief of Staff. She also owned and operated a public relations firm specializing in project management for nonprofit organizations. She currently serves as the president of the board for the South Fulton Convention and Visitors Bureau, and she's the current CEO president of the Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce. I'd like to introduce and welcome Diane Matthews to the Southside Show.
Thank you, Artie.
All right.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate you here on the south side of Atlanta, here in the city of South Fulton, and all the great things that you're doing. You hold so many titles. You're doing some great things on the south side, and we really wanted to share with our guests what you are doing here on the south side. So for our south side guests, let's, if you would, just please provide some background information of where you grew up, where you're from first.
All right. Hey, my dad moved my mom and I here when I was like 5 years old. Okay. And I have claimed Atlanta ever since. So even though I'm not a Grady baby, I'm from Pennsylvania originally, but I'm not a Grady baby, but I am an Atlanta baby. Okay. Born, bred, and raised. So spent all my school years here, went to college here, Morris Brown College.
All right.
Green, and Atlanta has been my home. And wow. We raised our beautiful children here, okay, as well as now our children have children, so we have awesome grandchildren. So we are lovers of Atlanta, and it has been a joy. When I was in high school, my dad became a principal of Fairburn High School. There was an actual Fairburn High School. He used to teach at what was called South Fulton High School. Okay. It was in East Point. And then they built a high school just for black children called Fairburn High School in Fairburn. And my dad went over there and headed that up as the principal. And so I would come down to see him from time to time if I was off or something or needed money. And I learned real quickly, I like this area. You know, we lived in Southwest Atlanta, which I love. I'm a SWAT's child. But the first time I saw Fairburn, that was it. I fell in love with it. And so when we're grown and married, what did? We moved to Fairburn. Right. And that's been the love of South Fulton County. And basically, it's been that way ever since. And friends used to tease me and say, how do you know so much about South Fulton? I'm an explorer. I just like to hop in my car and ride around and learn where things are. So I found waterfalls and rolling meadows and all of this, and people are looking at me like, where in South Fulton is that located? And I have to tell them. So it has been a joy, but I am, you know, if you cut me, I bleed South Fulton.
All right. Well, you have some very deep roots on the south side. And the great thing about South Fulton, the city of South Fulton, is that it is such a huge area. Over 86 square miles, over 110,000 people.
That's right.
And you have been here to see it at one point, and you've seen it you've seen the transformation of what it is right now, and there is so much more potential, and there's a lot of great things that have happened that are a result of what your family has done and what you are currently doing as a leader on the South Side. So tell us a little bit about your professional background after Morris Brown. Of course, you had jobs and everything.
That's right.
Did you ever, was it your goal when you were a child to become a president of a chamber or to be over a CVB or anything like that? Kind of tell us, how did you land where you are now professionally?
It's really interesting. In college, I majored in communications and journalism. That was my thing, and became a news reporter, and primarily political reporter.
Like for what organization?
It was called WQXI Radio. It's still here, AM, FM. But at that time, WQXI Radio, you also filled in for what was WQXI TV, which is now Channel 11. And so I stayed on the road a lot until I started having kids, and then had to curtail that. And there were no really good news jobs that I could get that would not cause me to have to be out of town all the time. So I just went local, and going locally, I started working for a couple of organizations, but the main one was Eastman Kodak. And Kodak had me selling copier duplicators and all of this. And one of the organizations that I sold to was the South Fulton Chamber of Commerce.
Okay.
And just at that time, as I sold it, and I became friends with their, at that time, executive director, Kodak folded that copy products division, and they sold it to another company. So I was out of a job, and I told her, I said, I'm really looking for a job. And she said, well, had you thought about working here? If you can sell copiers, you can sell chamber memberships. And so that's how it started, and I started doing that, and then learned all about the chamber world. And that person left and went to even bigger things and asked me to take over, and I did as interim. But it was a little different back then.
Right.
And so we were reporting to we were a chamber, but we were still reporting to a larger chamber. And I just wasn't in love with it. So one of our board members, who happened to be a county commissioner, Michael Hightower, offered me a position on his staff. So I went to work for him.
A very familiar name on the South Side,
yes,
Michael Hightower.
Indeed. And so I was Michael's, what do he call it, South Fulton rep. And I worked at the South Fulton office and handled all of the constituent complaints and issues and everything.
The great communicator that you are.
And I loved you. Put that skill to use. And it was an absolutely wonderful time. And then years passed, and when Michael stepped down and they had an election, and I was already doing work for William Bill Edwards, who was running the Old National Merchants Association, and I was their project manager also. So with that, I went to work for him. So I stayed in my same office and everything, and just transitioned to a different District 7 commissioner. And working in District 7, which is, for those that don't know, District 7 was nothing but unincorporated South Fulton County. That's what it was. So it was all of the cities in South Fulton, and the unincorporated area, which is now the city of South Fulton. And while working there, under Commissioner Edwards, that's where the movement began in the early 2000s of citizens wanting to be able to manage their own fate, their own opportunities, and not that the county wasn't doing a good job, but we felt that we could do it better if we were our own city, right, and just do it like that. And so that's where it came from. So that first effort failed. It did not go through, that first referendum for cityhood. But that's okay. We regrouped and started all over again a few years later, and that's the one that was successful, and the city of South Fulton was formed. And so I'm just blessed in that I was there for all of it, got to be a part of all of it, and could see the advantages and some of the few of the disadvantages, but there were more advantages. And so here we are today. I decided to retire from the county in 2009.
Okay.
And I spent a whole year loving traveling around the world, and thought that was going to be the rest of my retirement when the chamber came knocking.
Okay.
And the chamber came knocking and said that they needed a new president, and I accepted. And it was for 18 months. They said they just needed a troubleshooter to turn everything around. And that was 12 years ago. So
wow.
I've been here ever since.
Well, that's great. So the Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce, when was it actually started?
In 1947, it
Wow.
started out as the East Point Chamber of Commerce.
47?
Yep.
Wow.
Then in 1950, it became the East Point College Park Chamber of Commerce. And then around 1980, it became, the name changed again, and it became the South Fulton Chamber of Commerce. And so
Wow.
we've been around ever since and serving all of the cities. Once the new city was created and the name just remained South Fulton, a lot of people thought, oh, okay, so the South Fulton Chamber is just for the city of South Fulton. So we've had to explain to people we represent all 8 cities throughout South Fulton County, the biggest city being the city of South Fulton.
Right. Thus given the name the Greater
Yes.
South Fulton.
Yes, exactly. So
Okay.
that people understand, absolutely. But we're really happy for the growth and for all of the good things that are coming in South Fulton. So it's
All right.
been my honor to be at the forefront and be a part of all of this.
Okay. The Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce. Tell me, how many members?
We have over 500 members,
Wow.
about 525 last count.
It's pretty healthy. It's pretty
Yes.
healthy.
Yes.
I've attended several, events with the South Fulton, Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce, and I understand that you guys have a class each year to kind of introduce up and coming leadership. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we have something called Leadership South Fulton.
Okay.
Leadership South Fulton was started back in 1990. I was happy to be a charter member of that class, along with several other leaders whose names people know, Senator James, William Bill Edwards, Thuree Brown, who was council person in the city of East Point, Jackie Barrett, first African-American sheriff in the United States of America.
Wow.
So, and none of us had those roles at that time, but we were introduced to South Fulton.
That's a strong
in the leadership
class, I tell you.
Exactly. And so from there, it just continued. But by the time I got back to the chamber, it had been discontinued. So that was always a goal of ours, was to bring Leadership South Fulton back. And one of the main reasons that we wanted to do it was because in watching different elections in the city of South Fulton and in some of the other cities, it was surprising that so many people didn't know much about the area that they wanted to serve.
Right.
And that proved that we really needed to bring the class back. So in 2019, we brought the class back, and we've been doing it every year since.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, it seems as though it's always been going on. I've been, I guess in the South Fulton area since 2013, but it always seems like it's always been going on. But that's great that you guys were able to bring it back, because like you said, it is very, very important that if you're going to serve in an office, or you're going to serve the people, that you know the community that you serve.
That's right. And right now, actually, recruitment is open for it, and it closes at the 1st of August. So really,
right around the
end
corner.
of this, by the end of this week.
Before we forget, how can people interested in actually participating in this, how can they actually sign up?
Yes, the best way is to call the office because the time is so short. Just call the office, and they will make sure that they get the application emailed to them immediately. And the office number is 404-782-2057.
Okay, well, great. Well, I want to receive an invite, and I want to come out and check out and see what's going on with your new class. I enjoy talking to all of the up and coming leaders in the South Fulton area.
We would love that.
Okay, so you've talked a lot about the history. It just seems as though that you have a wealth of knowledge about the history and the way things have actually evolved over time. What are some of your, what are some of the obstacles that you see for the South Side, the South Fulton area that you serve?
Right now, it appears that the major obstacles are sometimes not getting fair coverage of what's really going on in South Fulton, South Fulton County, and especially the city of South Fulton, which is the main focus that people have with it being a new city.
Right.
And so there's so many good things to talk about and to promote that it becomes a little disturbing when you can't get the positive out there.
Right.
And it's only something negative if there's a disagreement between people or something like that, and they just paint the whole city like that.
Right.
And it's not. South Fulton County, and especially the city of South Fulton, so many resources. You know, people don't understand when I have to explain to them that warehouses are not being brought into the city of South Fulton. South Fulton has Fulton Industrial, the largest warehouse industrial area east of the Mississippi River.
Exactly.
There is no need to do that. Therefore, the city has not done that. It's doing a great job. It won its court battle against Atlanta. It got Fulton Industrial. That was the whole purpose. So having to educate people, and that's one of the things that leadership does, but also when we have our chamber webinars and meetings and things like that, we're trying to get that information out because that is a challenge, trying to correct the narrative that people are being told.
Okay. Yes, I was the South, I guess the Fulton Industrial Boulevard area. I had the opportunity recently to go and visit a couple of major, businesses in that area, and it is amazing the work that is going on. It is amazing how far the reach is. I mean, like you said, Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, Georgia. You know, all around. It's amazing that this area has so many businesses.
It does.
And they are top of the line. I mean, it's amazing.
It's absolutely true.
But if someone were interested in actually participating in your program through the Greater South Fulton Chamber of Commerce, they have an opportunity to learn about a lot of this stuff.
And tour it also.
Great. All right. Well, with the city of South Fulton has just celebrated its 5th birthday on May 1st, which is a great accomplishment.
Yes.
It's a very young community. Of course, there are some issues here and there, but what community doesn't have it? With the new city being formed, a new Convention and Visitors Bureau was also formed, in which you serve as the board president for the South Fulton CVB. First, for our guests, Southside Show guests, tell us what is a CVB first, and then talk to us about kind of the goals that you and the board have set for the CVB.
Okay. Convention and Visitors Bureau is an organization that is dedicated to tourism, to bringing tourism into the area. You could even call it marketing, because it's all about marketing the city, letting people know that we're here, we're open for business, and that you can bring your family reunion. We have so many parks. You can bring your convention here. Yes, currently we only have one hotel, but there are 2 more on the horizon that are about to be constructed right now, and then we know more to come after that. Not to mention that it's our job as a tourism organization to let people see what we have and to know how centrally located we are and how convenient we are if you're getting to the airport or downtown Atlanta or Buckhead or any of the other areas. I mean, it is the place to be.
Right.
So this is our role. So our board, well, first we began in 2018.
Okay.
And then really kicked off in January of 2019, but we were formed in October of 2018, and there are currently 11 board members.
Okay.
Each of the board members represents an area of tourism. either hotels, entertainment, restaurants, B&Bs, you name it, it just goes on and on. It's like a really wonderful, diverse group of people that serve on that board and are committed to ensuring that the CVB is able to promote the city of South Fulton the way that it should be and get people to see all the wonderful things that we have. And we can't thank the city of South Fulton enough, because with their vision, there are so many venues that we have that when we're putting on events, we try to always make sure that it's at one of them. So like the South Fulton Arts Center, the South Fulton Performing Arts Center, Burdett Gym, Burdett Park, Creel Park, you name it. It just goes on. And when people come out and actually see our events there, they're in shock, because some of them have never been. So they don't know, especially people from other areas of South Fulton that are coming in. And so we have a go-getter in our executive director who, you talk to Chantel Francois, 2 minutes, you're going to be sold on wanting to have your event somewhere in the city of South Fulton.
Yeah, she has a really great personality, and just one venue you didn't talk about, Wolf Creek.
Yes.
Amphitheater.
Yes.
Huge facility. I'd never been to Wolf Creek Amphitheater until I actually started working with the city of South Fulton, and I went to the Juneteenth event, and it is just an amazing facility. It's kind of mind-boggling. And on the horizon, I can't give too many details, but we have some development that'll be in that very same area that'll be coming online soon, so just kind of stay tuned.
That's great. And then, with the amphitheater being located where it is, right in less than 5 minutes away is the Wolf Creek Golf Course. Also,
beautiful. And there's some development that's on the horizon there also.
Exactly.
And it's going to be it's just going to be excellent. I'm a person, I don't really care for golf a great deal, because I'm really lousy at it, probably because I don't play it very often. But there's a number of, there's residential development, there's retail development going to be coming online, and which will just make it an even better, amenity for the community and also visitors.
Yes.
Especially those that are coming for conventions and meetings.
Exactly.
And I guess the new name that they're coming up with for the CVB is the DMO, Destination Management Organization. So they kind of use them interchangeably, but they virtually mean the very same thing.
They mean the same thing. They do.
Yeah. Okay. Well, how can residents get involved with the CVB if they wanted to kind of participate? I know in other communities, sometimes they have ambassadors that are, whenever there's huge meetings and the community wants to get involved, that they will have residents or people to come out. And,
oh, wow.
So how can residents and people from the community get involved to support getting meetings, family reunions, events, attractions, concerts, things of that nature here in South Fulton?
Sure. We're still new, and we're still growing, so we haven't gotten to that yet.
Right.
But our meetings are open.
Okay.
So if residents want to attend, it's always a public notice goes out, and we have had residents to attend. Even when during the height of COVID, we had to do all of our meetings virtually. We had them attend virtually, and now that we're back in person, we've had them attend that way so that their voices can be heard. So that's where we are with it right now, but we will definitely take that idea into consideration, because that would be a great idea. Because it's only 11 of us as a board, so
exactly. And there's, like I said,
community support.
It is so, like I said, the job is huge, but you guys are really on a roll. Like as you mentioned earlier, you don't have a great deal of hotels now, but you have so many projects that are going to be coming online soon.
We do.
And it's just exciting.
It
that
is.
You have that amenity that will be available here on the South Side. You don't have to travel downtown to the World Congress Center.
You don't. And I have to say that with our restaurants, we have some of the best restaurants around, period. I mean, I love taking prospective businesses that are joining the chamber, taking them to places like Baltimore Crab and Seafood, Mulan's, Milk and Honey. We take them to these restaurants and it blows their mind. They have no idea, and especially if they're going to locate somewhere in the city of South Fulton or near it, they are thrilled to learn what service and what great food. Oh, Gaucher's Breakfast Bar, I don't know how I could forget that one.
Oh, yeah.
It just goes on and on. It's so many that we can just sit back and you don't have to go anywhere else. You really don't. And it's a pleasure. Fox 5 covered us last year when we did Restaurant Week. And they covered the CVB at Mulan's and at Baltimore Crab and Seafood, Milk and Honey, and there's one more that I'm skipping. It's a pizza place, Johnny's Pizza.
Okay.
And Johnny's Pizza. They love doing it. Fox 5 personality loved doing it so much that he just kept coming back doing it.
Right.
So that just shows the type of restaurant owners that we have here that are committed to providing the best. And while Fox 5 was at it, they covered the climbing wall on Boat Rock.
Right.
As a tourist destination. And I had people calling me saying, I've been living here all my life. How come I didn't know about it? So we would tell them, you know, where to go and that there's an organization that they host these things and you should go over there. Absolutely. But it's, we're like, I call South Fulton all the time a secret. It's been a well-kept secret. And now that the city has been formed and people are actually seeing what's here, the secret is out. And people are learning, oh, I can save my gas and I don't have to go as far.
Exactly. And the thing about it, with that narrative, that's why the Southside Show is here. The Southside Show is here to bring to not only the local residents but visitors the positive stuff that's going on the South Side, that you don't have to travel, you know, to the north side or east or west side. You do not have to go outside the boundaries of your own community to enjoy great restaurants, great hotels.
That's right.
World-class entertainment.
That's right.
There's a lot of entertainers that live here in the South Fulton area that are, you know, you can be in a store and you'll see, you know, a major entertainer or athlete will be there, and it's just kind of, it's amazing, you know, what the ability, I guess what's right here in your own backyard.
Exactly. It's so true.
Yes. So, if someone, do you guys have any type of social media that anyone can sign up for so that they can kind of stay abreast of what's going on?
We have, with the CVB, we're on, well, it's, hold on one second. It's Visit SoFood.
Okay.
On social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Okay.
Just go to that and you'll be able to keep up with it. Also, our website is visitsofood.com.
Visit SoFood, S-O-F-U. Okay.
And so that will keep you in the loop with everything. And we have a lot going on. It's a lot going on right now. We're about to enter Restaurant Week that starts on August 14th.
Okay.
So once again, like last year.
I'm going to participate.
Please do. Let me tell you, we go in, or I should say Chantel goes in, and she puts table toppers on all the tables that say South Fulton CVB Restaurant Week, and you get certain perks when you're going to these restaurants. There's usually a special drink that's made, and you get that also. And it's such a good feeling because it's in your own community, and you're getting to do this and celebrate these restaurants during that time without having to go anywhere.
Right.
It's just magnificent, and to walk away and just feel so good about it. And so we're hoping for great coverage again this year. like we had last year, but it really introduced some of our own to our citizens right here to know what we have. So we have that coming up. We just had an event at the Southwest Performing Arts Theater where we kind of re-kicked off the CVB, and we had Senator Donzella James came out, and because she's over tourism for the state of Georgia, and so we basically promoted the restaurants and entertainment establishments like St. James Live and all of that are right here in our community. And so it was wonderful having people step up and say, you know what, I think that I'm going to look at opening a restaurant right here in South Fulton. I had no idea that there was such a built-in patronage list that's sitting here waiting for my type of restaurant. So we even have people that are doing that. So we're very busy with things like that, and we're looking forward to making sure that you, the community, comes out when these things are happening. There is something called the Taste of Soul Food that is put on by Sheila Mance and Michelle Taylor Willis. And it goes around to all of the cities, but so far it's been in the city of South Fulton twice. Or it's going to be twice come Friday. It's been at the Southwest Arts Center. It's about to be at Burdett Park again. And it's just a continuation that these are citizens that are putting this on for our citizens to be able to come out, to be able to be vendors, and to be able to come out and sit back and enjoy the concert.
All right.
Yes.
Well, great. Is there anything that you'd like to leave our Southside guests as we close?
Just this. We have a lot to be proud of. There was a saying that used to be used for South Fulton County, and I just want to say that phrase again. Good things are happening in South Fulton. Good things are happening in all of the cities, and good things are happening in the city of South Fulton. We have so much to be proud of, citizens. So please, I know there's a lot out there that's being said negatively, but if you contact the CVB, if you contact the chamber, if you just contact people that you know that work for the city, they will be happy to tell you all of the good things that are happening in South Fulton. So hold your head up and be proud, because we have a lot to be proud of.
All right. Well, thank you so much for visiting with us today.
Thank you, Artie. I appreciate it.
All right. And it's a wrap, folks. My time is up. I'm Artie Jones, your host of the Southside Show, bringing you the latest and the greatest that the Southside has to offer. And if you don't remember anything else from this episode, please remember this. Don't sleep on the Southside. Thanks for joining us. Take care.